And away from that, amid an ongoing geopolitical flux in the wake of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov met his Indian counterpart S Jaishankar today in New Delhi. Lavrov is also expected to meet Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi in the evening, along with Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval. In their opening remarks, both ministers stressed on the friendship between the two countries, with India acknowledging the stressful time amid which the meeting was being held.
Our meeting today takes place in a difficult international environment, quite apart from the pandemic. India, as you are aware, has always been in favor of resolving differences and disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. In our meeting today, we will have an opportunity to discuss contemporary issues and concerns in some detail. I look forward to our discussions.
Lavrov said that he hoped that the search for a balance of interest will prevail at a time when the West was trying to make everything about the Ukraine conflict. Lavrov also lauded India for its neutral position, saying it had assessed the situation in its entirety.
Our Western colleagues would like to reduce any meaningful international issue to the crisis in Ukraine. You know our position. We do not hide anything, and we appreciate that India is taking this situation in the entirety of facts, not just in a one-sided way.
Russia is looking for help to reduce the impact of economic sanctions imposed by the West. So far, India has maintained a neutral stance, refusing to bow down to pressure by the West to sanction the Kremlin. India is currently buying Russian oil and has also purchased missile systems from Russia. Taking note of this, the United States and Australia on Thursday, however, criticized India for considering a Russian proposal that would undermine sanctions imposed by the West. Reports suggest that India is weighing a plan to make ruble denominated payments an alternative to the SWIFT banking system after the US and European Union cut off 7 Russian banks from using the cross-border payment system. On Lavrov's visit, however, the US said that every country has a different relation with Russia and they are not seeking to change that.
Different countries are going to have their own relationship with the Russian Federation. It's a fact of history, it's a fact of geography. That is not something that we are seeking to change. What we are seeking to do, whether it is in the context of India or other partners and allies around the world, is to do all we can to see to it that the international community is speaking in unison, speaking loudly against this unjustified, unprovoked, premeditated aggression, calling for an end to the violence, using the leverage that countries, including India, have to those ends.
India has so far refrained from taking sides in the ongoing war, asking both sides to resolve the dispute through dialogue. But its position has triggered intense diplomatic maneuvers from all sides. Just a day before Lavrov's trip, India hosted US Deputy National Security Advisor Dalip Singh and UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss. China's Foreign Minister also visited India for the first time since 2019. Let's talk more about this. WION's principal diplomatic correspondent Siddhant Sibal is joining us live from New Delhi. Siddhant Sibal, good to see you. Probably you can highlight the significance of Lavrov's visit to India and the Indo-Pacific.
Well, it's a pretty interesting visit. The Russian foreign minister here in Delhi just a month after what's happened in Ukraine, the Russian invasion of Ukraine. We know that Delhi has been a busy capital. Foreign minister almost every day here in Delhi. Yesterday evening there were 3 foreign ministers in Delhi. But we saw the opening statements by both the foreign ministers, the Indian External Affairs Minister and the Russian foreign minister. Now, if we look at the Russian foreign minister's comments, he of course lauded the Indian side, but also from Delhi slammed the Western world when it comes to situation in Ukraine, but largely his focus was the bilateral relationship. He said that he's going to personally give the greetings of President Putin to the Indian Prime Minister. And if you look at the Indian External Affairs Minister's speech, it was pretty short speech, but one thing stood out was that his emphasis on direct dialogue when it comes to the situation. He, of course, did not mention the name, the Ukraine word, but his focus was something that New Delhi has been saying, that there must be a need for Kiev to Moscow and Moscow to sit down and have conversation. We know that in short while from now, the Russian Foreign Minister is going to meet the Indian Prime Minister, where the NSA, Ajit Doval, will also be present. Now, this stands out given that the visits by various foreign ministers, the British Foreign Minister, the Mexican Foreign Minister, the Omani, the Austrian, the Greek, the Chinese, they never got this chance of meeting the Indian Prime Minister, while the Russian Foreign Minister is getting that opportunity, and that shows that how New Delhi continues to have good relationship with Russia.
Siddhant, the US and Australia have criticized India over Russia talks. Both nations are not really pleased by Lavrov's visit, even the US calling India's stand on Russian sanctions deeply disappointing. Has India responded to some of this criticism by the West?
Well, India hasn't responded, but India has essentially in its own way clarified the situation. Dilip Singh, who is in fact the deputy NSA, he was here in Delhi, and his comments are something that have been the talk of the town, how his comments have been seen as Washington pushing New Delhi in terms of doing what it wants to do, and they haven't been taken kindly, and his comments essentially come at a time when the Russian Foreign Minister is also here. But if you look at one of the key concerns of the West, especially United States, is that India getting crude oil from Russia. We know that the Russians have offered discounted crude oil, and that of course is an opportunity for New Delhi, which has a huge energy demand and a huge population as well. But yesterday one thing interesting happened, that while the Indian External Affairs Minister and the British Foreign Secretary were sitting at an event here in Delhi, there was this question on the Indian side getting crude oil, to which the Indian External Affairs Minister clearly pointed that it looks like some kind of campaign is going on, before highlighting how Europe continues to get its energy supplies from Russia. Then why single out New Delhi? So that is something that India has put in place or said when it comes to this criticism that has been coming from the West, because they are keen that India stands with them, while India has been taking a very nuanced and a balanced position, given that India as a major defense supplier is Russia, while the Western world is also an important partner in various fields.
Live from New Delhi, Siddhant Sebal, thank you very much for your insights today and for talking to us. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.